welcome to Crime Bytes, the show where we talk about some truly bizarre and disturbing crime cases. My name is Liz, and today is True Crime Tuesday. I am super excited about today's case for two reasons. It's my first of hopefully many, but for now, the first of an on-location filming, and I'm actually on vacation, or I'm about to be, in West Haven, Connecticut with my mom and my son for the week. And this all kind of came together perfectly, and unfortunately, in some cases. But the second reason is the outcome of today's case. You'll see is, at least I hope you'll see the positive. I have to figure out exactly how to tell the story. I won't spell that part yet. Anyhow, I'm filming this little bit and ending before I take off on my vacation. Then we're gonna head up to West Haven, Connecticut for the middle of today's episode. Yay! So let's go. So today's case is kind of still unfolding, but welcome to one of my favorite beach areas in the world. We are in West Haven on the Long Island Sound. As you can see, it's very, very peaceful here. There's not a lot of waves. It's actually an estuary off of the Atlantic, so it's a lot calmer than your typical ocean beach and teeming with more wildlife. There are a bunch of crabs, horseshoe crabs, so many different birds and fish. Let's see if we can spot some here. I was looking and there was some fish earlier. Almost every time you come to, it's always slightly different. Definitely on the top, one of my happy places, and I try and get out here as often as I can. Oh, hang on, here's a cute little distraction. Here's a buddy. Go-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. We got a crab that is living his life. And this is the kind of sea life you can find here at the West Haven beach. This one is Sea Bluff, and the one right next door that way is the one we are going to be visiting and talking about today. But before we head over there, just look at this. The way the water is sometimes with the sandbar, it's like people are walking on water, literally.
What's that?
Alright, we're about to go to Dawson Street Beach, but here's some more people walking on water. I can't get over it. This is just a very cool and unique beach, as you can see. Alright, let's head on over to Dawson Street, or Dawson Avenue. It's Dawson Avenue. Dawson Avenue Beach. Alright, let's go. Today's case occurred here at Dawson Avenue Beach on June 22nd at 2:30 a.m. Romney Desronvil, and that's the only time I'm going to try and say that name. Sorry if I'm not getting it correctly. Romney had reached his limit. So let's start here and take a look at this sign over here because it is significant. So let me get a closer look, and as you can see, the beach, the parking lot, this whole area is only open from sunrise to sunset. So Romney ignores the sign and pulls his Nissan SUV right up onto the beach. Then he hops out and drops a t-shirt over his headlights so that he won't attract more attention to himself. He would claim later that he pulled here to finish up a phone call. Apparently his girlfriend and the mother of the little boy and girl in the seat behind him was going to call the police on him. You see, he had taken these children against their mother's will and said he was going to go see a friend in Bridgeport. Then, when he got the call stating that the mother of his children was going to call the police on him after he found evidence that she was practicing witchcraft, no less, that she was going to use it to harm another man, that was just too much. Then he saw what he thought was a police light out of the corner of his eye, and he just kind of snapped. Now, the story up until now is only alleged. It's sort of what Romney was stated and what they pulled together after the part that I'm going to tell you now that we know for a fact occurred. And Romney was in police custody. This next part we know for sure happened. So, reports state that Romney was 30 to 40 feet out in the water. There's our water. We're back at Sea Bluff. He's walking and holding his kids above the water in his arms at first, and unless you're familiar with the Long Island Sound or beaches like the Long Island Sound, that might sound strange at first, like 30 to 40 feet. So the Long Island Sound is an estuary, a tidal estuary of the Atlantic Ocean. Let me just pan again. We had those people walking. I'll throw a little map up here and place a pin in the location of today's beach. I'm making my way out about 30 to 40 feet for visual for you. So you can see it's a fairly unique waterway. I love it here so much. It's extremely peaceful under normal circumstances. Anyway, so we're for fun going to make it out 30 to 40 feet if I can handle it. You can see the water is a little murky. So you can get a perspective here. Let's see. We might be about 40 feet out. Let's go a little further. That's Dawson right next door here. And yeah, we're gonna go just a little further. I think that make sure I get myself out. So even then, if you look, like, I'm only up to my knees, and Dawson's like a little better for swimming, so maybe like waist area, but like you can get out pretty far, 40 feet-ish out, and I'm not even up to my waist. So it's kind of crazy. So Romney would take his twins and one under each arm. He would make his way and walk out into the ocean until he was about this far. And luckily, there was a patrol officer in the area, and he noticed the SUV that was parked on the beach where it shouldn't be, with the something over the headlights, obscuring the headlights. And when he went to investigate, he heard screams that were coming from the water, and not the type of screams that you want to hear from children coming from the ocean. Not to mention, it was 2:30 a.m. Like, what is going on here? Not knowing exactly what was wrong, but knowing that someone was in danger in the water, the responding officer radioed for backup and then ran right in. And as he got closer, it became clear to him that there was a man in the water attempting to drown two small children. And as he got even closer, the man started to scream, "Stay back, stay back." Then he said, "I love you." And he was kind of holding his kids up, and then he lowered his arms into the water, looked at the officer and said, "Kill me." And then he lowered his arms down further until they were completely submerged. The officer would not, however, stay back, and the reports state that the initial responding officer was able to gain possession of the children. So I'm assuming there was a small struggle, and that it may have been easy and it may not have been, but either way, he was able to gain control and then pass them off to the backup officers that were there. Those officers were able to get them to the shore where life-saving measures were initiated, and then they were rushed to the ICU. When they looked inside Romney's car, they found a box cutter and some religious material attached to his steering wheel. The twins would be brought back and then rushed to Yale New Haven Hospital, where they were both intubated. 2 days later, the West Haven Police Department would announce that they were taken off their ventilators and expected to make a full recovery. Here is a clip from that evening after the incident took place.
Guys, we are live in West Haven, along West Haven Beach here, right at, looks like Arlington Street, just after Prospect. I don't have a lot of information. I know that at least 2 children were transported to the hospital. I don't know the extent of their injuries. It sounded like there was at least one male inside the water with the children. And then police were dispatched at some point or here. I had heard the fire department's transmission, and it sounds like they had some sort of struggle with the male in the water. But when I got here, it looked like they had him in custody, and he was possibly in the back of an ambulance. They had another, I think, person in an ambulance that was over here that just left. I'm not exactly sure, but you do have a car on the beach here. Sounds like they're getting the Coast Guard involved.
Romney was taken into custody and being held with a $2 million bond. He had his first court date on July 1st, and his next appearance is scheduled for August 26th. He is being charged with attempted murder, reckless endangerment, and risk of injury to children. He also has an alleged prior incident where his girlfriend states that he tried to run his SUV into a cyclist. So we're looking at a lot of factors at play here, and we'll have to keep an eye out for future updates as this is still unfolding. Okay, welcome back. I want to make today's positive note the fact that no one died in today's case, and that was thanks to the quick thinking of the responding officers. I think that's imperative to note because this case could have ended so much worse than it did, if not for them, as so many cases do. These officers were fast on their feet and were able to resolve this horrifying situation with no lives lost. They could have definitely shot Romney if they felt like they had to save his children, and clearly they were composed enough to know that that wasn't necessary. It's nice to give kudos out to law enforcement when we can because of all the bad press that they get. When they deserve to be praised, they should be. So bravo to responding officers. Here is a photo where officers Williamson, hope I'm pronouncing that right, and Miller were visiting the twins on their 3rd birthday. So sweet, and they're pictured here with their mother. So if there is another update on this one in the near future, I will either do a part 2 or I'll post a pin in this comments. Maybe I'll do that for updates that aren't quite large enough for a full episode. We'll see. But I'm going to get my part 2 done for next week, and hopefully then we'll start our midsummer series. And until then, please stay safe out there. Enjoy your summer. Bye.